Hey everyone, Rune Hako asked, where are those Droidekas? Well, I have one of them right here. And I have it because I bought it for $65 US and built it live over on my Twitch channel. This set comes with 583 pieces. Now this comes with the slightly downsized UCS style plaque that is printed, which I wasn't expecting. You also get the 25 years of little brick over here and the miniature or minifig roughly scaled Droideka. And we'll be looking at those more closely later. Of course, in this video, we're going to be focusing most of the time just looking at this thing itself. The build of it was not too bad. It had some sections of it that were a little bit interesting, but most of it was pretty just straightforward stuff. Not a whole lot of technique was used in this, but a fair amount. I mean, you can pretty much see everything here. There's not a whole lot that's hidden away, which completely makes sense. It definitely feels plenty sturdy once it's put together. A few of the spots along the way, you kind of had to just set something in the right place and then trust that it was going to be locked in place with a future step, and it really didn't take that long. So just in general, it definitely didn't feel like a brainless build to put it together. And the end result is nice. Like on display, this looks nice. I should get you just a random minifigure just to kind of show you the scale for, you know, an actual normal human-ish looking thing there. You get the overall size of it. I don't know exactly what it scales to, or if there's anything that it scales to. During my Twitch stream, somebody asked if this would scale to the old construction figures, the ball and socket joints, Technic-ish based figures. And at that time, I actually said no, it wouldn't. That this is way too small. But I can now confirm that it's actually not that far off. This and this should be at roughly the same height. So yes, this is too small, but it's not that bad. You know, you put this into a diorama sort of situation, have some separation between them, bend the knees a little bit, so it's not just completely straight up and down. And yeah, it could probably be made to work. Not with the larger ones. I think Darth Maul is bigger, and definitely the later version of Vader was the largest by far, and that one's not going to work, even though Vader is rather tall in universe. But maybe the first version would work okay. But all in all, the presentation here is good, and I will show you the rolling up feature, which is I guess I could give you some proper focus. There we go, which is a thing. What I like most about this definitely is the eyes, how the eyes are done. It's just the lipstick piece turned around backwards. I didn't even realize before seeing the pictures of this that it had that the lipstick piece was built that way, where you'd see the little bit of the inner color from the base of it, and that's absolutely perfect. Just generally, the whole upper side of this, the whole upper section of this feels very good to me. Looks very good, and I especially like all this stuff here. It's got a smoothness to it, but yet these segments kind of make sense to me. The gaps are very, very small, surprisingly small, like just about as small as they could be, possibly without getting into much more advanced techniques that would bulk things up or make it very fragile. You do have these stickers, which I think the stickers could have been made a little bit more high contrast. The match between the browns is fine, but I think that instead of going with that dark silver color, maybe a medium silver color would have just stood out a little bit better, because as it is, you don't really see that much. Most of what's there is black, and black against the brown doesn't do much. Little one here, little ones back here. Of course, you can just leave those off if they don't do much for you at all. But I appreciate that they are there. Did they need to be prints? This piece could have been a print just because there are 4 of them, but otherwise, it's not that important to me, just personally. Let's see. These, the cannons look pretty good. What I don't like here about them is that they do angle down a bit. They droop. See, this isn't horizontal, and from a higher view, it feels more like they're drooping down farther than this. You can adjust their angles significantly, but just with the click hinges. So you've got to find the spot that works, and there just isn't a spot that is perfectly horizontal. This is just as close as it gets, and yeah, just a little bit of droop, but it's really not that big of a deal at all. Too bad we're not able to get little hollows at the ends here as well, something similar to this but with black in the middle, just to show the emitter end, the barrel and the muzzle of these cannons along here. And then they did design it so that they will shift back and forth. Now there's no remote action feature for this. It just has the ability to be shifted. Doesn't really work that well, right? This is kind of getting caught up over here. Let me move this out of the way. Let's try it again. It's something. It's just not a lot though. It's kind of just vibrating. It moves a little bit, but I mean, they're also kind of turning with that. It's just not the most effective feature. I very much appreciate the attempt, but they needed to move maybe twice that much to get a good feeling out of it, to really feel like, oh yeah, this is doing something. As it is right now, it's just kind of wobbling back and forth. That's okay. It's really not that big of a deal to me, but I did want to point out just kind of how I felt about that. And then down here, the bulb, this is nice and solid. Looks pretty good. I appreciate the relatively newer, rounder pieces that are able to bring in some smoother detail around the top than we could have gotten a few years back. Other companies, of course, do many different types of pieces, but for Lego, this is relatively a new shape, and that shape right in there is a good one. I'm glad that they have kept this around and in circulation and didn't just keep it around for one single season when it was first introduced with Ninjago and others. And you don't really see a whole lot of off-colored parts. This does have some tan pieces in here, but you know, that's close enough to the color scheme and just kind of feels like greebling. You've got some dark tan down here. That's fine. Just generally, yeah, the fit and finish I think is just fine on this. Would have been nice to have some articulation, I thought, down here. It's not bugging me that much actually having it, because pretty much just gonna do that. You're gonna walk it. There aren't a lot of poses that I want to see that require this to be leaning forward or leaning back. And if I do want it to be angling up, if I want it to be, you know, firing up at something above, perhaps I can just do that. And then I can just angle the head up as well. Just like that. You know, see, that completely works for me. So we got the range that I need to see, but the biggest thing that you need to see articulation wise is getting this thing all folded up into a ball. Everybody wants to see it as a ball, right? Well, it goes something like this. These are not attached, which just makes it really easy to get them out of the way. Fold this up all the way. I think it goes one more click like so. So the arms are able to fold in just like that. You want to get this to be into more of a round shape, and then the whole thing folds forward. These need to be out. Yep, something like that. There we go. A little bit closer to a ball, and then you just have to tear the legs off. And this is thankfully easy. These are durable sub-assemblies here, but you do have to do this manually. There's no other option. Kind of a parts forming sort of thing in that sense, but yeah, just flip them over. It's not too big of a deal, but it's too bad that you do have to do that. Not everybody appreciates having to parts form, and this needs to be just over the back, something more like that. More like that. Yep. Does it roll though? I can probably get it just a little bit better, adjust some things slightly. And this is about as close to round as it'll get. But you know what? That's not too bad. I don't think I can complain too much about that, given the fact that it's still holding itself together. The old Technic one, a lot of people remember the Technic one being amazing, and they would just fold it. It would automatically unfold itself and everything. But the reality, from what I've heard from people who actually still own the thing, is that it's not the best. It's not the most durable and not the most reliable. This is more reliable. There we go. Now I'm starting to get the hang of it a little bit better. So yeah, if you want to do that, you can. It's kind of cool. They didn't need to do that, honestly, but it does technically work, and it looks about right. Here's the little presentation panel thing, which is larger than I would normally expect for this size and style of set, because they needed to have room for the 25th anniversary brick, which is common between all of the 25 years of Lego bricks, or sets. It's the exact same brick. Again, this is printed here. Let's take a closer look at the minifig size Droideka. I've seen a lot of people express disappointment in this thing, and that's understandable for several reasons. First of all, whatever version was out when a given person was a kid and loving life and just having fun with toys, that was the best version for them. That's how nostalgia works. But beyond that, it's also perfectly legitimate to just prefer objectively the accuracy and the specific design decisions of some of the others that have been made in the past. I personally think this is one of the better ones that they've done, because they've done some stinkers, I think, along the way. But different parts of different ones through the history of these things have looked good. And I think the upper part of this looks good. The legs do not. I think the choice of legs here was a poor one. It was a very poor one. There's just too much blade look to that. There's too much height to those. They're not lanky enough. It's not enough of a robotic feel to them. And I think that using the Exoforce arms helped them to just look much better. Probably using the B1 arms was too small, but too thin, too lanky. Doing something more custom like they tried to do with the arms here probably would result in too much length, but this specific choice of piece, or even the newer mech finger pieces, might work a little bit better. I don't know why they have the eyes facing outward on this. They very clearly had you point them out, which I don't get. They should just face forward, right? But other than that, like the arms on this, I think are very good. And as far as the scale of this is not bad at all. Could be, it's really, really close. You can see that this is slightly elevated right now because you got that clear platform there. You can make it get a little bit closer to the ground, and then its accuracy actually, proportion-wise, is quite good. It's just too wide. But it's something that you build up, and it's kind of fun. I like it. I just would swap out the legs is all. These are the leftover pieces, including a couple of whips there, cool whips, and the sticker sheet. Well, it's more stickers than I think you would expect for this, but they're all rectangular and easy to apply. Coming back to price, this was again $65 US, 65. It's 65 euros, 60 pounds UK, and 85 Canadian dollars for 583 pieces. Honestly, for this amount of stuff in Star Wars in 2024, that doesn't feel outrageous to me. But realistically, for the amount of plastic that's here, you take the Star Wars out of it, you take the Lego out of it, you take the whole investing market garbage out of it, and just look at what's here. You should be able to get something like this for like $40 if it was cheap. Add in the protection and comfort, peace of mind of Lego's customer support. 50, easy. 65, yours. Yours? What is yours? Yes. Sure is what yours is. Yes and sure combined. $65 feels like too much, but it's not that far out of the range of reasonability. If you really like what you see here and you want a Droideka that's about this kind of size, it's going to be difficult to get a legitimate one from a legitimate company for much cheaper. Lego is expensive? Yes. Star Wars stuff is expensive? Yes. Is it all because of the license? No. Because the fans have the money and will pay these kind of prices. That's why the prices are where they are. So within the context of all of those realities, like them or not, I don't feel like this is too overpriced. And I think that I think it's the type of thing where the price will sting at first, even if you like it. But if you really like it, once you have it, you'll be happy that you have it. And you'll kind of forget about you'll forget about the sting over time. That's just my feeling about it. I really don't think this is something that people will feel insulted by. People who do get it will feel insulted by with its price in the long haul. I think the rolling up ball thing is novel, but it's not that great. I actually thought that I disliked the legs before I got this in hand, but now that I actually have it and I've had some time to mess around with it, look at it from different angles and everything, I like how they look, and just the carefree ability to just put it down, I think outweighs the potential benefit of having posability, because I wouldn't want this thing to have to be bulked up in order to have really posable legs and things. And I don't really feel the need to pose it that much moving around. And most of the time you're going to be thinking of it kind of planted, shield around it, and just doing this. So those things are all accomplished with this model. It's just this part isn't so good. And it would be nice if the cannons could just be a little bit more flat, or even angle up just a little bit. But all in all, most of my complaints with this are small. And the same thing goes for the small one over here. It's just the legs. I will probably swap those out if I keep this long term, but all in all, yeah, not too bad here. I don't feel disappointed. It's not smaller than I expected. It's just about the same size. Everything is right about where I expected. No bad surprises. Good surprise, a little bit. This just feels more satisfying to me. This whole part back here, the spine, feels more satisfying than I thought. And the build was, the build existed. It was a little bit more advanced than I expected, but all in all, not bad. So those are my thoughts on this one. Thank you very much for watching. I will keep working as hard as I can to bring you more good content, hopefully, and I'll talk to you soon.